Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're having our second Read Meta School podcast, and today I have with me two of our pupils from Bradford and from Ilford who are attending our Read Meta School, and they are both in year 9. And I'm going to have an open discussion with you both, inshallah, to discuss your online schooling, the reason why you started Read Meta School, online school. I know you're both one's from Bradford and one is from Ilford, Redbridge, which are heavily dense Muslim populated areas. And I would have imagined that the schools in your localities are populated with Muslims, but you've still opted to go for the online Read Meta School, which will be a very interesting discussion. And we'll talk about your transition from the physical school to the Read Meta School, how it's been, how you've made friends, how you've enjoyed the classes, how you feel you are academically progressing, inshallah. So what we'll start with Amina. Amina, would you like to introduce yourself and have a very relaxed, open conversation with me about the points of discussion that I've highlighted, inshallah?
Um, Assalamualaikum. My name is Amina. I'm in year 9 in RMS School. I've just joined this school in term 2, and I feel as if this school is more helping than my old school.
What was your old school?
My old school was Dixon Kings in Bradford,
In
and
Bradford.
yeah,
Okay, and was it heavily populated with Muslims? Were there a little bit of Muslims there, lots of Muslims there? How did you feel it was in regards to that?
there was more Muslims. There
Okay.
was like, less populated other religions. There was more Asians there.
Okay. And why did you feel that you needed to get away from that and make this decision to go online? How did you feel the school was aligned to your spirituality and your education as well?
Educationally, that school was good, but socially, it wasn't. Meaning, there was lots of like bad things that were committed there, so like sins and things like that. And my parents didn't want me to inherit them bad habits. Like I didn't even want to inherit them myself. So that's why we came to this school because it was more Islamic, and socially, it's not that corrupt either. So educationally, they're both the same as well, but socially, it's better here than my old school.
Mashallah. So you use some very heavy words in that discussion. You use some, some society scenes, the corruption, even though it's a heavily dense Muslim area and more Asians were going to the school, you still felt as though it wasn't socially having the right impact on your iman or you as a young Muslim. So you
Yeah.
decided to come to Read Meta School. Now that you've been with us for a few weeks or months now. How have you found it? How have you found it spiritually for you? How have you found your family life be affected? Tell me the changes that you have felt since you started Read Meta School.
The changes I have felt is that, well, because like before when I used to go to my old school, I used to feel with more attitude when I come home, and it's just act like those kind of students that were in that school. But once I'm with the proper Muslim and proper Muslims around me, those who follow their deen, I've actually figured out what I did in my old school was really bad, and I always do like a stuffer every day because of the bad things that I must have done there. So here the changes I see is my attitude decreasing, and doing reading more namaz daily as well, and getting more. I'm motivated to read in the Quran every day, because usually when my dad says to read the Quran, I usually be like, oh no, I don't. When it's like shaitan's coming and talking to me, but now that when I'm coming to the school, I'm getting motivated to read Quran every day.
Mashallah, mashallah. So what we're having here is you're having your very own special spiritual journey, and it's not being influenced by people around you. Because when you're in school, you can't really choose who you socialize with. Essentially, you're just around the people that you're around. Whoever's in your class is in your class, and the teachers, because it's not a Muslim school, the teachers aren't pushing or reminding you about these things, about Salah, about Astaghfar. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just to mention, He is the most forgiving. And all you need to do is be in a state of Astaghfar. And like you said, you're in there. But He will forgive, inshallah. But what's more important is the reasoning and the fact that you are now having your very own special journey and relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's not being affected around you, or even by the school or the teachers and the curriculum that's being pushed on you. That's beautiful. And how long has it been, and how much of an impact have your family sensed the impact? Has it been a collective good feel about this, or is it different opinions?
I've been here for a month, and I feel as if my parents have seen a difference as well, especially my dad, because usually like I wouldn't concentrate much in the Quran lessons, and especially when we do Islamic talk. But now that every time we do Quran nowadays, my dad especially sees that I concentrate better than my little sister, and wants my little sister to also join this school as well.
Oh, excellent. So very quickly, within a month, your family seeing the impact, and already, your family deciding to put your little sister in the school as well. I think personally, I've been in the school system for many years, teaching in state schools and in Islamic schools, mashallah, and I absolutely understand what you're saying. And the most beautifulest thing is the fact that you've just mentioned that your sister now wants to join. So within the space of a month, your family have seen the change and the impact it's had on you. You've also felt the change that it's had on you, and you feel as though it's had a positive impact to the extent that your sister even wants to now join the school. Now, these kind of conversations we have are absolutely beautiful, and it's so nice for us to be a part of this journey for you, and enabling you to have a very special, a very special spiritual journey with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and rectifying your deen and becoming a better person without the influences of those who are around you. And I think that for children your age is probably the most important factor, is the society that you're placed around. And even if you are in Bradford, which is, like I said before, heavily dense Muslim area, you can still find yourself around people that might not be in the same journey as you, or might not be practicing the way that you want to practice, and they can influence that. Very, very interesting, and it's a good insight. But are you happy at the school, and how are you fitting in with the class?
I'm actually happy in this school, and the class that I'm in right now, the students and teachers are really nice, and they're very welcoming as well. And I just feel like this school is so much better with the students and teachers in
Excellent.
being so nice.
Give me three things you like most about the school. Do you like being at home and not having to travel to school in the cold winter days? Do you like being in the comfort of your home and having nice lunch, spending time with your family? Give me a few quick pointers on what you really like within the space of this month.
Maybe just staying at home and just like in my own zone, and just like sitting and chilling and not. And secondly, to not worry if I'm late or not, because like the teachers are understanding at times, saying like because like internet problems, and the teachers are understanding. And thirdly, maybe the class environment as well, how the students are so nice, and they're very welcoming to new members or students of the class as well. So
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Last question for you now. Do you know that when you're in the class, the way that you discuss things with the teacher, like the interaction, compare it with a classroom that you was in before. So how many kids were in the classroom in your old school?
there was about 20 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, there's about 20.
And how do you feel your voice was? Was it being heard in the state school? Was you kind of not getting too much involved in the classroom discussions? Compare the classroom discussions and the classroom environment to your home and your online schooling now.
To be honest, in my old school, there's lots of students that were really bad and things like that. They used to never focus in class, and so the teachers would always stay focused with them students. And so like I never had like a one-on-one talk, and so that's why after class I had to usually go to the teacher and ask them, but not during class, because they're focused on those students who don't concentrate. But in this school here, I can just freely put my hand up, and the teacher will come and answer my question, and there's no disruptions at all.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. It's fantastic we're having you here. Right, I'm going to give you a break now, and then I'll come back to you. Now we go to Asya. Asya, you're in Redbridge again, another heavily ditched Muslim population area. We're based in Redbridge in our physical school as well. Let's talk about your experiences. Was you homeschooling before, Asya, before you come onto this school, or was you in another school?
Assalamu alaikum, my name's Asia. I was actually homeschooling for 3 years before this, but the online school that I did before, it wasn't really face to face with the teacher, and I wasn't really socializing much with students. So I feel like this is a good opportunity to make friends um,
Good.
and have
That's a good point.
interaction.
That's a good point. So you're saying that your social interaction, your social, what you're doing now socially, we've enhanced, so we've made better your socializing in a schooling or an online schooling environment. So would you say your social experiences have now become better now that you're a part of an online school rather than just being homeschooled?
Yeah, because of the school trip, we got to see each other in person, and we could make even more friends with them, and it was really fun as well.
And how do you feel your friendships are, and how do you develop your friendships in the class? Do you speak to them on the phone after classes? You go to the breakout rooms. Obviously, like you've mentioned, we go to the school trips, and you feel a part of a community. Do you feel a part of a community at Reed Meta School?
I do feel part of a community because after class we do homework sessions and we talk to each other. And after the school trip, few of us and the girls made a little trip to Winter Wonderland, which was really fun.
Oh, excellent. So what we're doing now, obviously, now we've had our first trip with you guys then. Now we're going to start to work on residentials. We're working with Yasin Youth now, and we've got a residential coming up for 3 days or 2 days, 2 nights, 3 days. And I'm really looking forward to that. And these are the kind of things that we want in our community. Reed Meta School, mashallah, is growing really quickly. And like Amina said, that she was made welcome really very quickly in the classroom setting, which is important. And how do you feel? I mean, you said you feel a part of a community. So we've got a homeschooler and we've got somebody that was in a state school before. How are you feeling academically at Reed Meta School, both of you? Because you're in a crucial part of your education now, year 9. Are you academically feeling as though you're progressing significantly or adequately at least?
Definitely, I feel like I'm increasing my knowledge in education because you can ask the teacher any question and they respond back to you really quickly. Like for my other school, for example, you had to email them and it would take like 5, 6 days for them to respond. But
Wow.
here in Read Meta is instantly. Also, the modules and the work that they post on the Google Classroom is really easy to access, and it's really easy to do the work and
Well,
post
I'm,
things.
I'm gonna I'm gonna dig into that a little bit more. So we've got a large misconception for parents that come to the school. They feel as though the interaction that the students have with the teacher is not the same as a classroom. And I forever argue with them because I'm in a school. And just like Amina said, she said that, look, when you've got children who are not concentrating, they tend to take the time of the teacher. It makes it hard for those who are concentrating to ask questions. It can really become very easily and very quickly a destructive environment. And I tend to have these conversations and I say to them, no, when you're online, the communication you have is so much more intense and so much more personalized. And even when the child has a question, like you both have now said, it's so quickly, easily answered, and you're confident enough to ask them questions. So what I'm going to ask to clarify on, when you're in the classroom, do you feel as though the communication between you and the teacher is of a good standard, of a high standard in comparison to a classroom setting in a physical school? Let's go to Amina with that one, and then we go to Asiya, inshallah.
Could you just repeat the question again?
So the question is that I have a lot of parents when we talk to them, and they feel as though the communication between the teacher and the student online is nowhere near as good as in a physical school. And I say to them, no, it's actually better because the level of concentration you have online, like right now, it's really in depth. And you've obviously stated before that when you was in a classroom, children used to disrupt the classroom. So in comparison, what's better, do you think?
I think the homeschooling is better just because, like, before I said the students in my old classroom, the ones that were in my old school, the ones that were bad, they were disruptive, and so the teachers used to concentrate on them and not the other students who did need help. But here, there's no disruption at all in classes, and so the teacher does whenever there's someone who puts their hands up, the teacher straight away comes to that student and answers their questions. So I
Mashallah.
would say homeschooling is better.
Okay, and Asya, your opinion
I
on the
think
level of concentration. So, like, I have to kind of prove to parents in discussions that when it's like a podcast, a lesson really, because the teacher's speaking and you guys are listening, and then when you say something, everybody. I think the level of concentration is far higher in the online setting than in a classroom. Do you agree, Asya?
yes, I do agree, especially because when we're doing exams, um, we can mute our microphones. As in class, we'll have like random noises coming, but we can just mute our microphones and no one will be distracted, and it will be easier for us to finish the work in time, um,
And
in
how
the
about
certain time we were
in a
giving.
normal classroom setting when a teacher's discussing things and you're asking questions? Is that responsive, like you said?
Yeah, because just yeah, that is helpful because um, students could raise their hand and they can just say the question out loud without the
Excellent.
teacher giving them
Okay,
permission.
excellent. So next part is what would you do? How could you make your online schooling with Read Meta School? How can you improve it? What would you say will improve your experience at Read Meta School, if there's anything? And because this is good feedback for us as well as all of those who are listening, what would you say could be an improvement? Amina, let's start with you.
To be honest, just I've just started, and to be honest, I don't think there's no improvements I read my school needs. That's what I think personally, but I don't know about Asia's thinking.
Asya, what are your thoughts on this?
As Amina said, there's not really need for improvement. Just for maybe one thing actually,
Go on.
we can have more extra after school clubs because the one that we have now is really enjoyable and it's really fun for me and my
Yes, yes.
friends to talk to each other
So
and
we have, yeah, and it's so good because I think the after school clubs are like, they're not like lessons, because lessons we've got a lot to do and a lot of content to cover. But I think the after school club, like you said, they're more comfortable, and I think your friends can get along with each other a little bit more and discuss things a little bit more openly, because it's something that we're doing as an extracurricular activity. So we had the podcast ones, and now we're doing the ones with the other teacher. So what we can do, and what we do want to do, is have a lot more of these and specialize in different fields. So whoever goes on, sorry, can actually do things that they're interested in together, and then that kind of develops your friendship as well, because you're now not in a school setting, you're in an extracurricular club, which is based around a specific topic or an area of study or an area of anything, and you can discuss this further and indulge in it and speak about it more on a friendly level. So you feel as though that's a social activity for you? Would you say it's more of a social activity as well as a enriching one?
yeah, definitely, because the first lesson that we did was embroidery, and we
Right.
like because me and Khadija, the girl that's in the class, we really like art, and we just talk to each other about it, and we
Mashallah.
get to bond as well.
That's what I mean. This is it. So, like in a state school, you're stuck with people that you don't might not even want to be with, essentially. And the teachers will sit you in seating plans, and it's really, really difficult. And you can't. And people think that you can make friends. I don't think. I think you can make better friends in areas of interest, like online after school clubs, or even if you go to clubs outside of the school, which we do push. For example, if you like swimming and you go to a swimming club, or horse riding and you go to a horse riding club, there you would find friends that are also interested in the same thing as you, which means you'll have more to talk about, which means your friendship will then strive better than just anybody that you have to talk to in class. What do you feel? Do you think that's a correct statement?
Yeah, I do agree because the timings are really flexible, and because the videos are recorded, you can easily, for example, if you go like a lesson, like an after school club that is not to do with the school, you can in a lesson you can just watch the video and you can catch up with all the work and you won't be behind.
Okay, alhamdulillah, excellent. So we do our after school club afterwards. But what I'm saying is, with the after school clubs, or even any clubs that you do, you're around people that enjoy the same interests as you. So that makes it easier for you to communicate with them and build bonds with them, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So no improvements for the school. So we're doing really well. Out of 10, of your happiness. We're going to do two questions now. One is rate it out of 10 of your happiness spiritually and your family life. And then the other one will be out of 10 academically. Let's go with, I'm going to first your spirituality.
Spirituality, I think a 9 or 10 out of 10.
Good.
And
And academically?
academically, I think 10 out of 10 as well. Because
Lovely.
because this school is educational, and my old school was educational, but I know here I can inherit more education than my old school.
MashaAllah, mashallah. Asya, spiritually out of 10?
Spiritually, probably, as Amna said, it was probably like a 9 or 10 because there's interaction with students as well. And educationally, probably a 10 as well because I'm learning more.
MashaAllah. And you know what? Do you know we done a last podcast and we had absolutely fantastic results, just like you guys have done here. And people will think, oh, they must have planned that. But wallahi, this is an absolute honest conversation. And these children, like one has only been with us for a month and one from the beginning of the year, both again from densely Muslim populated areas. But as you can see, wallahi, honest conversations. And thank you both for your time. And thank you for your honest discussion with us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for yourselves and for others to even listen into this and make it easier for them to make decisions to improve their lives and the lives of their children, inshallah. Girls, jazakallah khairan. I'll make sure you get some critic points for this, and I'll make sure you were rewarded for this as well, inshallah. And I'll speak to you guys soon. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khairan.